difficulties. I am back. We're just waiting on Zane a little bit as we start to get back in. No surprise, we do see the Ziggs ban and the Camille ban. Very similar bans coming out as these teams do find themselves on the same sides of the map. We do see a little bit more coming out from the Nation Focus Me as they do choose to go towards Jarvan, but Rampage is mixing it up a little bit, having picked up both the Rek'Sai and the Rakan, denying the Lovers duo coming out from Nation Focus Me with the Thresh just locked in. We're going to be going back over to Rampage. Got about 20 seconds left in order to get themselves exactly what they want, and they are leaning towards the Varus, something which Utori was very happy with throughout most of the season.
Yeah, interesting draft off the start. Rampage opting to ban away the from Steel do not want to see that after their defeat in game one, and Ramune going back to a Talia pick, which I really like. The Corki, it felt like it was a decent idea with didn't really work out in practice. Much happier to see that Talia going to be picked up, has a great record on that for Ramune, and will be team out as well. Looks like he's currently hovering around. Okay, he is going to eventually swap over to that heal.
Yeah,
it could be definitely interesting for him.
Yeah, we do see the Shen ban coming out once again. It's a little bit interesting, but as Jarvan has started to see a little bit more play in the jungle once again, it's not surprising that they're focusing towards the top lane right there, because it does have the flex ability. But the Gnar coming out once again on DFM side. I want to keep that away from Evi, as they do have both the ADC as well as the top laner left to pick up, and there's not that much difference between ADCs. With the Lucian already banned away, there are still plenty of options available. He played Tristana last game, he's played Varus, he already hovered that a little bit, and he's got plenty of other champions available to him as well. So it's not necessarily the best ban, but the Gnar coming out, we'll have to see exactly what their last ban is going to be here in just a moment.
Yeah, I'm curious, especially looking into the top lane, what Rampage's answer is going to be to Paz's Jarvan.
It's not going to be Cho'Gath.
No, you're right. It's not going to be Cho'Gath. Interesting ban. I feel like Nation Focus may be pretty happy with how that lane ended up. They feel comfortable giving that back over to Rampage, but that's not going to be the case.
Yeah,
and you know what? This champion is too strong in this patch. We need to get rid of it now.
Yeah, we do see the ADC coming out. Good drafting here from Rampage, knowing again that the Jarvan can go to both the jungle and the top lane. They don't want to give away a counter pick for free. Instead, just picking up the comfort champion right there again for Utori, going back to the Tristana, which he's been playing quite a bit recently. DFM, on the other hand, is opting to pick up one more champion. It's probably going to be, well, I mean, they definitely have to pick up their jungler and their mid laner at some point here, but they want to pick something like that Maokai, which can be flexed to both the top lane and the jungle, so that they do put a little bit more pressure onto Evi as to exactly what he wants to play against, because Nation Focus Me has the option to play either one in either position right now, and so they're going to deny the counter pick as much as possible.
And it does look like Saros is going to be going back to the Heimerdinger. I like that. The crowd likes that too. You can hear cheering him on. They're like, oh yeah, we're bringing it back. The Donger's back. Nation Focus Me.
Interesting.
Drafting a very similar composition last one. They sort of felt like, it worked last game. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. Adapting a little bit. They didn't quite get the Rakan that got stolen away from them, so they're going to pick the Thresh. And they've gone ahead and moved Jarvan into the jungle and picked up Maokai. But overall, a very similar composition in terms of style.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest difference that we see here is perhaps a little bit less diving opportunity coming out here from the Jarvan as compared to the Elise. Simply being able to drop that turret aggro is so powerful up in the early games. And against this Rumble, it's not really a surprise to me that they are choosing to pick up that Rumble against something like the Maokai, but we haven't really seen Evi play that Rumble a whole lot, and in fact, Japan has had a terrible history overall with Rumble. I remember the first, I believe it was like 6 games that they played it, they ended up losing with it, and it was like the only games that they ended up losing to the lower teams was in players like Utapon and Evi and Opman, the top laner for Unsold Stuff Gaming, were playing Rumble. They just don't get the champion. it seems like, and they've never had good success with it. Hopefully, Rampage is going to be able to upset that curse, bring us back to a 1-1, because they are going up against the defending champions of the summer round robin. But again, throw out your Twitters and your tweeters to the at I believe it's Riot Games Japan, hashtag DFM win or hashtag RPG win, and hopefully we'll see a little bit of a difference. We saw last time was a 56% over in favor of Detonation. Perhaps we can get a little bit coming up from Rampage, but with the Rumble, I'm not sure we're going to see a whole lot of anything.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting champion. I personally, I don't think I've cast an LGL game with a run that's gone well.
No.
I very vividly remember Japanese Rumble players just like sort of playing ultimate sort of out of sync with the team, which is sort of the main most important thing with Rumble is, you know, how well can your team play around Equalizer and where you lay that down. If you lay it, you know, to split the 80 carry and the mid lane, if you lay it to, you know, burn damage onto the tanks or whatever, it forces you to play a different way in a team fight depending on where that's laying out. And I haven't felt like any Japanese team, Rampage, Detonation, Focus Me, anyone has really used that champion to its best potential. But Rampage looking to make a change, and this is definitely one to make. You know, in the last game, Evie looked a little bit stranded up in that top lane, wasn't able to find success up there. Once his flash was down, Detonation Focus Me able to pick on him quite a bit, and so I like this adaptation to a more aggressive champion that's going to be able to hold his own, perhaps, up in that top lane.
And again, we're seeing an interesting thing coming out. Ramune seems way more comfortable in this matchup than he did with the Corki. We see how he's able to play around the turrets a little bit better, knowing exactly how much damage he needs in order to burst them, even at that level 1. Able to just use the Q there to get the last bit of damage between auto attacks to pick it up as Heimerdinger starts moving around. Heimerdinger picked up a lot of CS. Is that already? Yeah, the entire first wave is probably dead already, so good job on him there. But nothing particularly surprising coming out from anybody here. Perhaps a little bit... Oh, wow. Steel's coming down for a very early gank. We said a little bit earlier, Detonation Focus Me likes their early game strategies. But this is something a little bit unusual. Trying to find their way. Not able to go in. Goes in with a flash play. But no hook available to follow it up. Just going to be trading flashes there from the supports. And I'm not sure that's a trade that Vivid is really too happy to be making, because now it puts Steel very far behind in the jungle in terms of farming, and he's much less mobile than Dara is on that Rakan. So it's could come back to bite them very hard since that did not pay off.
Yeah, in addition to that, Rampage has full vision of knowing exactly where, which will allow Tussle a little bit of freedom here if he wants to potentially contest this blue buff. It does look like he's just going to be happy to pick up that Scuttle Crab now, but Leo, looking for some vision, will run into Steel.
Yeah, they do see each other right here. Tussle's going over the wall, getting the knock-up right there, finding a lot of damage. No flag and drag available for him. He's going to have to flash out, but the red buff is ticking. One more Prey Seeker will be enough, but here comes Saros trying to turn it around. Ramune is on the backside. Not enough. Very aggressive. This is the aggression we wanted to see from Tussle.
Yeah, well played by Rampage, able to make that aggressive play happen and continue to make stuff happen. But here's Vivid looking for a gank in the mid lane on Ramune. Stun does not quite land, though.
Yeah, good job trying to get that slow in the first place. I'm not sure that would have been the easiest gank in the world to pull off at all, seeing as, you know, Vivid did not have that flash available to him. Evie's doing well for himself so far, up an entire wave of farm already, and starting to push around Paz, because Paz isn't really getting nearly as many procs off of that passive in order to keep himself much healthier than he might otherwise be in this lane. Perhaps a little bit of unfamiliarity, because we said Japanese players don't play Rumble, so if you don't play against Rumbles, how are you going to practice against it?
Right, and you know, this is just immediately a difference, right? In this particular game at the early levels, Rampage now has the early shove in the middle lane and the top lane, which enables them to make plays like invading Steel's jungle. And so already we sort of see things swapped around. This matchup in the middle lane...
Ooh, lots of damage going down on Paz. Forced to flash away. That was a good thing. He saw the heat coming up from Evie. Would be able to get the last bit of damage with the auto attack, the flash, and the Harpoon. But now he's in a little bit of a dangerous spot. Steel's coming up with a full health bar, and we see the teleport coming out from Paz. This could be a very dangerous position, but we don't see Steel moving forward quite yet. And I don't,
Oh
yeah,
man.
gonna choose to back away instead. He's not gonna go in for that gank. I feel like that might be a mistake and a little bit too much cautiousness coming out. They're already ahead. They can make these little things because they do see that their top laner's behind. Get him back into the game, but no, instead going to be backing away and simply stealing away the Krugs.
Yeah, I have to wonder what Detonation Focus Me's thought process was there. I think that they suspected that Tussle was closer to the
Hmm.
top half of the map. Maybe they
Oh,
thought
they
that
see
he
where
would
Tussle
recall.
is now. He used his blast clip cone. Wow, that was a tough set of words for me right there. But Tussle is going to be going in. He used the pollen from that to find a couple of wards, and they did see where he was. Steel was looking, stopped his back. Here comes another Destins coming out. Uses the
Ooh.
flight. Good follow on there. He's going to put him underneath the tower. No more health to come out. They did have the heal available, but it would have been a little bit of a waste as first blood goes over to Utori right there. That's not where you want to go. I do, man, so much respect for the follow, but just did not pay out. Evie should be hitting level 6 here very soon.
Oh
And
man,
Rame's
a
up here as
three-man
well.
dive onto this top lane. They're threatening it. Paz knows that something's up. Does have the seedling in the bush, so will be able to spot out Tussle. And Paz just gonna push him all the way off the turret. Recognize, hey, bottom half of the map. We should be able to put down some good damage on this turret very easily
This is
with the
interesting. They're
threat of
letting
the.
him come back to the turret. He does not have flash. He does not yet have his ultimate available, but they're going to just be backing away. Again, a little bit more cautiousness coming out of these guys than you might have otherwise expected. Rampage tends to thrive a little bit more in the chaos than Detonation Focus Me does. So I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't opt towards that. Oh, that was tragic to watch.
Oh, that
misses
hurts my soul, man.
misses every single one right there.
Doesn't At least his back didn't get canceled. All right, so it's the small victories for Ramade here. He has to feel good that okay, this time my back. But that's definitely a tilter missing 4 CS out of an easy wave. Will be giving a small edge to Saros in this lane, but Ramane definitely looking much better in this lane than he did in the previous one, um, for sure. Does have that pushing power to match Saros, and sort of has that kill pressure as well. Talia, a very strong champion at the early levels, if she's able to land that W knockup into the E combo. So good on Ramane for adapting to the pick.
Yeah, doing much better than he was earlier. Just able to blow up those turrets, which is part of why we're likely seeing Sarah's going towards that missiles max once again, because he just knows that no matter what he does, they're just going to get blown up very quickly. And well done. Ramone picked up almost every single one of those there. Now he's just going to be able to get the last bit of damage onto these turrets and reset the lane in many ways. And that's what they really want to do. Evie and Paz are both down teleports right now. And they want to keep themselves in a good position for this Ocean Dragon. We've seen how effectively Detonation Focus Me uses them before. We've seen, especially with the Ziggs, and in many ways, Heimerdinger does almost everything that Ziggs wants to do, except for the incredible, stupid, like, turret damage that Ziggs really just brings to the table.
Right. And as this sort of early game continues to develop, I have to worry a little bit for Detonation because it feels to me like their composition really spikes very strongly in
Ooh,
the mid
Paz has
game.
just
Oh,
got his
Paz!
flash back up. Trying to find the knockup. Ooh, good knockback right there. Does flash forward, get the last bit of it. No equalizer coming out quite yet. There it comes. A little bit late? I'm not sure how I feel about that one. It does end up coming out, but the mid laners also trade summoners right there. And the ultimate coming out from Sarah is just trying to stop him, but here comes Dark trying to find his way onto his lover there. Utapon is not going to be phased a whole lot by that. Not going to seduce him quite yet.
Ooh.
Instead, just going to be running right back out. And just such a mobile champion.
Yeah, that was a really interesting skirmish in the bottom lane. I sort of felt like Rampage weren't on the same page there. Dara wanted to play very aggressively, did have that level 6 advantage. Vivid was not quite level 6 yet at the moment when he started that ultimate ability, but Utori not in a position to follow up. And so they just sort of back away without anything going on for them. And Detonation Focus Me has to be happy knowing that the quickness is not available anymore for Dara to really pressure this lane out too much.
Yeah, and good job on Dara there. Despite, I don't know if he knew the ward was there. He puts down the pink ward right now, but just being able to play cautiously with because he doesn't know that Utapone and Vivid had backed yet, and indeed they were still there looking for the death sentence, and they weren't able to quite find it. And here, standing just far enough back to be out of range of that hook. Just very cautious, just very smart, small things that you tend not to see unless you're looking for them.
Right. Absolutely. Rampage, despite the mishap, they're still looking very well for themselves in that bottom lane. Utori doing what Utori does. Up now 13 CS over his lane opponent in Utapon. Tussle now looking to get some vision here. Steel did spot him out. Does look like both junglers are just going to be happy to say, hey, what's up? And then back off.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to farm for either side. We see both Wolves and the Raptors up on red side for Rampage. Instead, coming back here, I think they have a pretty good idea of where he is. We see a couple of pings coming out. Steel is going to be killing this red buff. Oh my god, great W coming out, finding his way. Comes back with the Cataclysm. Here comes Dara trying to find his way. Good quickness onto two members right there. That's another kill onto Steel, but here comes the ultimate coming out. Dara is taking so much damage, nowhere left to run. That turret does damage.
Good lord, Saros, able to turn it around. I was so excited for Rampage at the start of that fight. Ramune with a fantastic Talia combo, interrupting the EQ out of Jarvan to secure that kill. Unfortunately, Ramune using the Weavers, trying to cut off Saros, but ends up cutting off his own teammate, which ensures Dara's demise. Let's watch that again. So you can see the W interrupts the EQ, and then Tussle and Dara are already on the way. The flash recombo will knock up two members. But unfortunately, Dara is just sort of left all alone, and that turret just absolutely chunks him. The full combo out of Saris, able to completely obliterate this squishy Rakan health bar, and a 1-for-1 overall for both teams.
With no more dashes available, too, we saw he used his flash, he used his E, and he used his grand entrance all to get in very quickly. He might have had one more charge left to get back to Ramne, but he was not close enough to get there. He doesn't have the extra range that Xayah provides normally. And again, all these small things do add up into a dead bird person. Reminds me of that episode of Rick and Morty, except this time with fewer humans.
I respect it.
It was bad. I was reaching very hard for that one, but Steel and Dara fighting each other out a little bit. Plenty of wards here for them to navigate around, but just going to be able to pick this up fairly quickly. Not that much damage coming out quite yet. Dara's going to be able to get back. And with the Ocean Dragon now on the table, with Evie still having a slight teleport advantage for a little bit longer, potentially have an option here. Not going to be able to repeat his performance there onto the jungler. Instead, just going to be clearing out a couple of waves, and that's something that Ramune does very well on this character in order to just keep the rest of him safe. We see Saros just very happy to just throw out all of these missiles, trying to find anything onto anyone, and good job right there. I think he got the cannon. Yeah. I'm actually really impressed with the way that Ramune is CSing all these minions, just very, very aware of his damage at all times.
Yeah, and you can see now that we're reaching the stage of the game in which the dragons become very important. Detonation Focus Me seem to have won the Vision War for now around that. It's just a matter of can they push an advantage in the middle of the bottom lane in order to secure that objective. Ramune also, he's doing a fantastic job CSing, but he's starting to reach that point at which Talia starts to have difficulty matching wave clear out of Saros' Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger does have that sort of free push option that costs 0 mana to him once he lays down a couple of his turrets, and it's starting to wear down on Ramune. Remember that the weathered ground that Ramune puts out cannot be used again to get the full 5-shot Q, and so every time, every wave that pushes in, it gets harder and harder for him to wave clear. Without taking some chip.
Trying to find their way onto Vivid. Gonna have another quickness and grand entrance, but not going in quite yet. Ramune is looking for the Weaver's Wall, but that's so far away. And he's already taken a lot of damage from Saros, just being able to throw out those missiles pretty effectively. And with Steel here on the other side, this could be a 2v2. And it would not be in Rampage's favor as it currently stands. Instead, just going to go back, try and find a little bit of farm. But knowing that he's on the top side could give Detonation Focus Me a small advantage, as the dragon is still alive so many minutes later.
Yeah, Steel now has complete vision of Tussle, did manage to put down those deep wards into his jungle. Both junglers matching each other's vision, actually, sort of on opposite sides of the map, as we see Steel looking to make an invade. Unfortunately, not going to find a whole lot there. I guess there is a blue buff. And it's actually a very good timing now that I look at it longer, because Tussle is stuck in the top lane. This will be a quick steal for Detonation Focus Me. Dara was stuck backing. Tussle was up in the top lane, or up on the top half of the map, trying to clear out some minions for his own side, and Saros able to pick that up.
And it's a very good pressure play, because now if Rampage wants to equalize the blue buff, it would require several members to go to the opposite side of the map that the dragon's on, which would in turn again give so much opportunities to DFM. I'd be very surprised if Rampage does choose to play for this blue buff, instead just gonna be like, hey, Robin, sorry, sack it up, we made a mistake, they outplayed us, but we can't give up this Ocean Dragon, because that's a permanent buff as opposed to just the small one that they would have from that blue buff.
Steel now looking to make a play in this top lane. Evie has been playing a little bit far forward.
Ooh, overheating, already going to use the ultimate. Paz does not have a whole lot of mana. Here comes Steel, does have the ultimate available. Evie has the flash as well. Don't want to trap himself in the equalizer. Evie doesn't have a whole lot of anywhere to go. Unfortunately, not enough damage even through that flashes before the Cataclysm, and the dunk is going to be enough to secure that kill. But with Steel on the opposite side of the map, here comes Tussle trying to find his way onto Steel, and Paz flashes forward. No mana left on either the top laner or the jungler. Going to use that ultimate to get underneath again. Finds the last bit of damage onto Steel, trying to find their way onto Paz. Tussle does not have the invulnerability to go again. But good play from Paz in order to keep himself away from everybody else. But here comes Dara. He's got a health bar. He wants to go right back underneath. Yutori taking a couple of shots. Gonna have to see Dara picking this up at first. Gonna use the quickness and the grand entrance. That's going to be a dead tree. But no, the Courage of Colossus is keeping him alive very long. But Dara is just standing there on the bottom side of the turret. Not going to take too much damage. But just for those 2 kills and that 1 turret, they're going to lose both the bot lane first and second turret. Fantastic pressure game coming out. Detonation Focus Me one more time, and here they come right around. Romany doesn't have a whole lot left either.
Yeah, I mean, although Rampage was able to turn around the kill score there, you have to give credit to Detonation Focus Me once again, pulling out ahead on the macro scale play, recognizing that Rampage wanted to do this lane swap. They wanted to put Tristana up in the top lane. Does cost them 2 map, as well as about a quarter of the health of their mid turret, which could transition Detonation Focus Me into an easy dragon in the next couple minutes.
And we did see even there, Yutori being up in the top lane, there was an opportunity for Detonation to potentially go for that dragon. It would have definitely cost them the second top lane turret, simply because of the pushing power that Yutori has, because he would not be able to join in time. Instead would just continue to push like we saw Yutapon and Vivid do. But now that he's back, they do have an opportunity to contest it on both sides. Paz is starting to move over here. He's already on the bot side, and Yutapon going up towards the top side is going to end up sacrificing this Ocean Dragon to get a little bit of farm and potentially a little bit of damage on the top lane turret. But with it so far back, it's going to be difficult for them to secure that one as well. There's no damage going on to the dragon right now.
The Smite Steal out of Tussle is able to secure that. I like this move out of Rampage. They played very, very aggressively, recognized that they had the slight edge. They had backed slightly faster than Detonation Focus Me after that sort of reset, and they also had a pushing wave in the top lane. That allows them to get to the dragon faster and steal it away. And in addition to that, they'll be able to take down this bottom turret without any trouble.
But we see exactly on the other side, we see Detonation Focus Me doing a similar thing, trying to cut off Evie. Evie doing the smart thing and going as far around as possible. Doesn't want to get caught out because they don't know where Yutapon or Vivid are, and instead just going to sacrifice that wave there because he's not comfortable. Yutori's going in. Dara does get the quickness down onto Paz. There's a lot of damage that needs to be done to this tree. Dara gets out again. Tussle's trying to find a little bit, and he does get the true damage down with that Ian. And now they're going to start pushing one more time. Saros had to back already. and just pressure across the map, or excuse me, just pressure in the bot lane and a little bit in the mid lane. Steel without the ability to engage effectively right now. Utori does have the jump away, as does Dara, and Ramune is starting to move in towards this mid lane as well. Just able to get so much small advantages once again.
Yeah.
Oh, knocks him right back in, trying to
Ooh.
find the knockup. Not going to get the next part of it. Evi's just going to be hitting this turret. He's going to trade it for the top lane turret as Vivid does start to move his way down with Utapon
Yeah.
in tow.
Vivid and Utapon moving down to defend and actually potentially push down onto this mid lane turret. Rampage has to be careful. They've been pushing their advantage. Ooh, the
Oh,
hook
Death Sentence
lands.
lands onto Tussle. So much damage. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Keeps Saris out, but he does have plenty of options on his ultimate. Dara is going down as well.
Ooh.
So much damage coming out from the missiles. Evi does not have the equalizer anymore. They're going to have to keep him pushed back. And with only one member going down, as Vivid does trade his life there for Tussle and Dara, this should be another turret coming out for Detonation Focus Me. Utori just looking on without a whole lot left to say. Here comes a teleport coming back from Effie, but doesn't have the equalizer available to him. I'm not sure this is the right play. Just going to try and keep Paz off of them, but they were going to lose that turret regardless. They could have just backed off safely.
Yeah, Detonation Focus Me eventually coming out ahead in that skirmish. One thing that I want to highlight that's interesting about this game is when Detonation Focus Me moved uh, the Jarvan the Fourth from that top lane into the jungle, the build path for Steel has been completely different. We saw in the top lane when Paz was playing Jarvan the Fourth, he was playing this very aggressive sort of style where he'd take both the Titanic Hydra and the Black Cleaver and just sort of murderize people. You know, pick one champion, lock them in the Cataclysm, kill them dead. Steel, though, on the reduced amount of gold in this game, is forced into a more tanky and supportive role, which sort of changes the way Detonation Focus Me has to play this fight. They don't have the same ability to lock down a single member of Rampage and sort of execute on them. So they have to play around Vivid's death sentence, which does allow them eventually to pick up that middle turret.
Absolutely, and we do see Knight's Vow again is a strong item, but we haven't seen a single Ardent Sensor. Japan doesn't seem to be playing around that
Ooh.
in this series yet, but with the early Baron coming up, Utori's on the opposite side of the map. We see everybody there except here comes Maokai throwing out the ult from Paz. Dara's taking a bit of damage. Evie is trying to find his way in. He has the equalizer still, but no equalizer quite yet. Baron is already smite away. Dara's trying to find his way. He has to go back out of the fight. Equalizer still being held on to him. Paz gets pulled out with the lantern right there. Ramune is on the front line. This is not a good battle line coming out from Rampage. They end up choosing to trade the Baron for the first mid lane turret with the inside track right now. They have an opportunity to get quite a bit more. Evie's going to try and stop them. Going to have to throw a ward over this wall. They're just going to throw some damage. They're going to get 2 turrets out of it. Good damage, but other people have already backed, and I'm not sure this is what they want to do. Here comes Steel going in, getting a good Cataclysm, but not enough to get any more damage onto anyone. What a weird series of events.
Yeah, Detonation Focused Me with the sneaky Baron play that was decisive, and I really appreciated it, to be sure. Ramune had this fantastic Weaver's Wall that locked them into the Dragon Pit, Baron Pit, which is very unfortunate. And then Rampage recognizing, hey, you know, I'm not entirely sure that we can take this fight evenly since the Baron has already gone down, but because they're trapped in this pit, we can take the inside track and secure 2 turrets for ourselves in the middle lane. That's exactly what they opted to do. Now, though, on the defensive foot, as that Baron buff will allow Detonation Focus Me an opportunity to use those super-powered pushing minions to perhaps take down some more turrets and get an advantage for themselves.
And I don't like the fact that Evie held on to his equalizer for so long. They were stuck in the Baron Pit. They were behind a Weaver's Wall. They would have to blow every flash in order to get out and potentially re-engage. And they had so much opportunity. He could have used it very early to potentially force a difficult situation onto Steel in order to secure the Baron, but he held onto it, ended up getting no kills. Yes, they get 2 turrets, but they could have gotten so much more. Oh,
Ramune.
Death Sentence. Good cleanse coming out from Ramune there.
No, that was actually the Banshee's Veil, which he picked
Okay.
up second item, which is also a fantastic adaptation, but not the same one.
It's true. I was going to be very impressed with that. That was some Captain Jack level stuff. Evie's getting caught out, stunned up a bunch of times, does have to flash out, but again, going
Wow.
down with his equalizer still up. This
Yeah, Saros and Udapon showing the strength of their champions on those 2 item power spikes, able to just absolutely delete Evie. And this is one of the weaknesses of playing a non-tank top laner, is you run the risk of getting caught up by a death sentence and just getting absolutely blown up. And Detonation Focus Me will transition that advantage into one, maybe 2 turrets.
Yeah, ultimate trade, keeping a couple of people out, but Saros is still able to auto attack. Tussle is caught up a little bit. Dara is potentially trying to find a way in. There's a little bit of damage. Jessens does land onto you, Tori, and that's going to be a very dead Yordle. Going to have to try and find a little bit more damage anywhere else, but instead they're going to content themselves with the first inhibitor of the game at 25 minutes. We just see Evie coming back from the grave right now, and there's not a whole lot left for him to do with Utori already dead. Dara's trying to find his way onto Steel. Vivid's going to try and look and get onto Dara, but nothing to do. And this, I can't stand watching this Rumble being played.
Press the R button. It
Press it.
exists. I promise.
I think we've
Uh,
seen him use it once so far, and then he used it incredibly late. This is not looking good. Here's another opportunity. He uses it to clear
there
the
we
wave,
go.
which is not the bad thing. Going in, does find the quickness onto a couple of members. Tussle's on the backside, trying to find his way onto Utbone. Do find the first one onto Steel, but Tussle's going to be blown up right here by Saris' turret. Not quite enough. Ramne flashes forward, gets the knockback onto Vivid, but he's going to get knocked right back by Paz. Trading, get the second one right there. Tussle's on the backside. Gonna get one more kill onto Paz. It's going to be a little bit slow, but they will find it. Another
There
dragon
you go,
does come
Evie.
up.
You found it.
You found
Press
it.
the equalizer button.
It's next to the button that you use for the harpoons.
Rampage doing a great job defending their base. Yes, they give up the middle inhibitor because they lost a couple of members there, and that was going to be an inevitable thing there. But they're able to survive and save that bottom turret, which will be able to regen up a little bit, I believe. As well as Ramane with a fantastic re-engage with the Flash W, able to continue that fight, continue the advantage. Had Detonation Focus Me been able to get out of there without that knockup, Rampage wouldn't have had nearly as much success here. As we watch that again, we see the Equalizer completely split the team. Steel and Udapon go forward, but they're kind of stuck back there. And Udapon actually has to flash out in order to stay alive. And then Ramane here lands the W onto Vivid, which does secure a kill for them and ensures that Paz will not have a lantern to keep himself out. And that will be 3 kills picked up in favor of Rampage, as well as that Earth Dragon.
Yeah, they're evening it up a little bit. I still think they're behind a fair amount because Detonation Focus Me has shown a fantastic ability historically to close out on games. We actually saw, I believe it was the last game of Week 10, where they were. No, this was a week 5, excuse me, where they were bang on even in gold, but Detonation Focus Me was at 11 turrets to 2. Udar finds his way onto Steel. They still have the Blast Cone available there, and with the Dark Passage, he's going to be able to get out very quickly. But Detonation Focus Me was even in kills, even in gold. Rampage had both the Baron and the Elder Dragon, and Detonation Focus Me was still able to end the game due to how much map pressure they had built for themselves. And right now, they're slightly behind in gold, but they have way more map pressure with the inhibitor down, with the bottom inhibitor turret, just a couple of auto attacks away from going down as well. And again, a very timid Evie with his ultimate not going in to get that. And that ultimate, it split the team. It didn't do that much damage. Not really, but just throwing it out there, forcing them to play around it. Whereas before, they just like, he's not going to use it. We're just going to do what we're going to do.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. Grateful to see Rampage sort of bring it back. And one thing, though, Detonation Focus Me, I think, throughout this series thus far, has had the better macro play, the better shot calling in terms of where they're going to allocate their resources, what sort of objectives are on the map for them to take. But they have to be really careful this game because Rampage has a slight gold lead, and they have Yutori Miyasi, who is doing so much better on this Tristana, and that is a scary champion to deal with, especially for Detonation Focus Me's team composition. Unlike the last game, they don't have a super powerful Jarvan who's got a ton of damage who can just delete Yutori off the map. They don't have that option available to them. So finding damage onto Yutori is going to be really hard for them in this next fight, perhaps around this Baron, and they have to play cautious around that.
And there's plenty of CC tools available for Detonation Focus Me. They're going to be jumping over, killing out all these wards right now, but Steel's getting caught a little bit, but not that much damage. And wow, a lot of damage going back onto Tussle. He doesn't have, only has the Mercury Treads right there for the magic resistance so far. And we see just how much damage Saris is able to put out on his 3-item Power Spike. Death Sentence misses, going to have to use the tunnel away. Uh-oh, Ramne is getting caught out. He's going to have to use the Weaver's Wall at some point, I think, to get out of here. No, Steel is not going to be able to press the advantage that hard, not having good information on exactly where he is. They're pinging towards the bushes, thinking maybe he ran over there. But we do see Red Inhibitor in the mid lane did just respawn. That map pressure has been given up right now, and with plenty of wards around the Baron, both teams are going to be able to play around it pretty safely. Rampage moving up a lot here in the mid lane.
This is interesting. Rampage, with that minion wave, we're able to force Detonation Focus Me into a back pattern. And it's actually really important because if you notice where Detonation Focus Me put their wards, they're all in this topside jungle, which Rampage is trying to clear out now. But when Rampage is pushed that far forward, Detonation Focus Me's wards don't matter that much because it's just not where Rampage is going to be to defend this Baron. They have sort of redrawn the battle lines once again. Detonation Focus Me able to get back in time to defend the base and now get back in time to defend their wards. But for a while there, it was kind of dicey for them.
I think it's interesting watching Rampage cede as much ground as they have been. They're definitely a team that benefits immensely from fighting in chokes between the equalizer, between Ramene's Q, and simply the explosive shot coming out from Yutori, wanting to keep people boxed in, but they're just very freely giving up these chokes on blue side's blue jungle, just letting them come through without a whole lot of contest right now. And it means that DFM is instead going to be able to hold the chokes as Rampage is retreating to their red side of the jungle right here. And it's it could be a little bit of hesitation again to pull the trigger on that equalizer, because there's definitely been at least one opportunity for an incredible equalizer to just shred the health bars of Detonation Focus Me and force a potentially split call. As we saw before, some of them went forward, but some of them went back, and unless they have an incredibly cohesive team shot caller during these team fights, it'll be difficult for them to play around it nearly as well.
Yeah, and this is where the game starts to get really interesting. Yutori Miyasi up almost a full item now over Yutapon Zaya. And this is the moment where focus sort of gets split, as Dragon is spawning in about 15 seconds with the threat of this Baron up. Which team is going to seed this in order to take the Dragon? Or, you know, they sort of have to split their vision resources to make sure that they can protect both. And we're going to have to see if a fight breaks out at either one of these locations. It's going to be a very tense battle for control over these two objectives.
And we say that, and it's a Cloud Drake.
Well, you know.
We haven't seen a lot of Cloud Drakes being picked up by Rampage or Detonation Focus Me. I believe it was Detonation Focus Me and Unsold Stuff who let one sit for 30 minutes. But right now, here comes a teleport out of Paz, coming back into the fray. These turrets here are doing a good job trying to find a re-engage right now. Evie does need to use the ultimate. Good ultimate splits the team. Saros goes back. They find their way onto Utapon. Is going to have to use the Feather Storm. Tussle's in the middle of the entire fight. Evie goes golden. Tussle's going to be the first one to go down. But there's so much damage coming out from both sides. Vivid's going to follow him very quickly into the grave. Evie's going to be the next one. Ramne is fighting with Steel on the other side of the map, but Yutori is starting to hop around, gets another kill, gets a double kill, gets a triple kill as he finishes up Saros. And here comes Ramne trying to get the last bit of damage onto Steel. Yutori's going to be moving forward, gonna get a little bit of extra damage coming out, but they are going to be able to move in very cleanly. And he did it again. He managed to use the equalizer. Steel doing a good job trying to stop all these minions from getting here, but it is going to be a final kill right there on the inhibitor. Gonna start moving on to the inhibitor as well right here, as Ramne is still chasing Steel around the jungle. But great fight coming up from Rampage, a very split fight. We're gonna have to take a look at that one again in a few short moments, see exactly what it was that ended up turning the tides there for Rampage in what was otherwise a very close fight.
Yeah, I think that the key in this fight was really Rampage able to play to their strengths and split up the members of DFM. DFM has a lot of like good forward and back mobility, but they can't really split fights on multiple fronts. And you see that Equalizer really threatening Utapon along with the Rakambo, able to force the all of his abilities very early, and that will come up huge later in the fight. They put down a lot of damage early on onto the early carries or onto the front line of Rampage, but they don't put damage onto the carries, and that's a huge deal as Yutori Miyasi and Ramune just able to clean up the fight when the front line of Detonation Focus Me no longer have abilities to defend themselves.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Rampage going very close, like you said, and then the health bars all started to get low on Detonation Focus Me, and the water broke. The dam spilled over, and Utori was able to start hopping around like that girl
Steel,
does. But Steel's getting caught out right here. Tussle's going to try and find the knockup. Goes in onto Romney. Here comes a teleport coming out from Evie. They're going to be fighting in a choke right here. Cataclysm locks several people up. Dara is caught out right here. Evie has an equalizer. It's a great equalizer across the team. Dara gets killed first, but David's taking so much damage. Steel is still on the wrong side, but only one person ends up going down, and it's on the wrong team.
yeah, at first I was really concerned. Steel with an aggressive move, but able to follow it up with the rest of it. Now pushing onto this Baron. This is a very dangerous situation to be in. Paz taking quite a bit of damage from the Ramune Talia.
Ooh, Evie's getting caught out a little bit. Goes golden very quickly. Romney's got nobody to defend him. He's going to have to defend himself. Steel's not taking enough damage quite yet. Romney throws one more rock, but it's not enough. But right now, we got these minions coming down the mid lane. They're going to start knocking on the door of Detonation Focus Me's base. Utori just on the side. They don't get any kills, but they do stop the Baron and get some damage onto the Nexus turrets. Overall,
Yeah,
not bad.
Evie's sacrificing his life valiantly in order to protect the Baron buff. Will be able to sort of even out this game. Rampage, though, walking away from the last few fights with a 5,000 gold lead, mostly on Yutori Miyasi, and they've been putting it to great effect. I mean, Yutori has done a very good job of staying back and staying safe, and now completed item build now at 36 minutes. As once again we go back to the Baron buff.
Ooh, Ultimate comes out of Paz very early right now. Yutori's clearing out some of these turrets right here, but without
Evie's
Evie.
not here.
Yeah, Evie's not here. Dara is going to have to find a way in. Tussle's trying to find his way over the wall as well. Yutori hasn't taken a lot of damage yet, but is going in. Dara uses the quickness, trying to find many people. Yutori's going to have to jump out. Cataclysm locks him down very quickly already. Rakan goes down. Yutori's at half health. Ooh, good chunk coming out. One more should have been enough, but here's Evie. He does have the equalizer. It's on the Baron. This could be a very big smite fight. Does go over to Detonation Focus Me as they're turning this game right on its head. As Tussle and Dara do go down, and they pick up another Baron for themselves, and they're just out team fighting Rampage this game.
Yeah, a very, very crucial and decisive call from Detonation Focus Me, recognizing that Evie does not have that teleport available to him. So as soon as he backed, they were aware that they had a window to make that Baron happen, and they execute it wonderfully. They will trade over the Cloud Dragon over to Rampage, but that's not a huge deal. They're much happier to have the Baron buff in their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see a little bit of damage going onto the bot lane turret as well. Rampage had a good job of having their minions pushed out, but it's not going to be that much damage in the grand scheme of things. Instead, they're going to be slowly hemorrhaging their gold lead. They were up, I believe, about 6,000 gold, and now it's dwindled down to only 2,000. Yutori's already on full items. He's not going to be getting any stronger, but Utapon and Saros have a ways to go. Looking like they're building towards the Rabadons right there, as well as the finished Mercurial Scimitar. And DFM has a ways to go. These guys are going to get tankier and tankier. We're going to likely see a Thornmail come out soon, or more MR items. We do see a Locket already finished, but here they come down the mid lane. The inhibitor turret is already dead. There's not a great equalizer spot right here. Robin's going to throw out the Weaver's Wall. Not quite going to find it. Instead, they're going to be able to back out. Very well done. Good awareness for the entire team, not splitting themselves up. And that's a big ultimate down. That would have been the only terrain for them to really fight with here. And they're just going to slowly burn down the second, or the inhibitor the second time right here. Last auto attack. There it is.
Yeah. Well executed by Detonation Focus Me to be patient. Ramune with an ambitious Weaver's Wall had that connected, right? Had Detonation Focus Me split up their tanks uh, between the wall and their carries, that would have been an absolutely huge win for Rampage because Evie could follow it up with an equalizer and they could make a very aggressive push for a team fight to stop this Baron. But that's not the case. Detonation Focus Me plays it smart, and now looking to siege this bottom turret.
Here we go. Lots of damage coming in from the double baroned up cannon minions trying to find their way in. Evie, we've seen this before, trying to find its way, but the Paz ultimate comes out, not going to find anybody. Tags up Ramne towards the end there. Tussles on the backside, does get hit by the Death Sentence. Going to have to use the Gargoyle Stone Plate, but it's caught up by the Cataclysm. There's so much damage. I don't see the Equalizer, but it's doing plenty of damage right here to Paz and Utapon as they do crawl over it. No kills coming out quite yet. Everybody on Rampage blinking red as they do give up another inhibitor right here.
Yeah, very close fights between these two teams. You can see, that they really are well matched against each other. Not quite able to secure kills, but all members flashing red for both Rampage and Detonation Focus Me as the second inhibitor falls.
Take a look at the deaths on both teams and how well they've done in protecting their back line. We see almost all of the deaths. There's 12 deaths on Rampage, and only one of them is one of the carries. Utori's died a single time. And of the 14 deaths on Detonation Focus Me, 2 of them are on Saris and Utapon. Combined, the frontliners doing their job, making sure their backline is able to stay alive for long periods of time and just keep them safe so they can continue pouring out damage. It's just both these teams are very good at team fighting, but we're seeing Detonation Focus Me in the little more traditional way that the game is played with rotations and team fighting that Korea has pioneered for such a long time. Just coming out a little bit ahead right now. Oh, it's a good death sentence onto Evie. Not able to find anything further.
Yeah. Paz has been doing a lot of work. I mean, despite his 1-5 score, has done a fantastic job zoning people out of these pushes with the Maokai ultimate covering such a huge area. He can sit back and ultimate from an odd angle, and it forces Rampage into awkward situations where they have to give up a turret. You can see that here too. They have to be cognizant of that with this next wave, with 2 super minion waves pushing in. I have to imagine Detonation Focus Me is going to make a hard push on this turret.
Yeah, here comes the Equalizer coming out, doing a lot of damage to Utapon, not knocked out by the Grand Entrance there, and they're going to be able to back out pretty easily. Weaver's well a bit too late to trap anybody. They're going to keep the Inhibitor turret alive for a little bit longer, but there's so many Super Minions already starting to pour into the base, and they don't have the tools to stop that again.
This is playing it smart, playing it smooth, recognizing that Rampage has to continuously use cooldowns to stop these pushes. Without the Weaver's Wall now, it's going to be even harder to defend against this next minion wave push.
Yeah, we're going to have to see Utori come out big here. He gets hit by the Flay. There goes the Inhibitor turret. Tussle gets caught up by the Cataclysm. No flash available. Dara goes in, tries to save him. No knock up there either. Paz goes back. Here we see Utori still untouched, doing a lot of damage. Paz is taking a lot. Evie goes golden. Ramne is starting to run low on mana, but Paz does finally go down. We see Utori jumping forward. Not able to get anything further for himself. He's the only one going over there. Ramne just needs to go back and start clearing up these waves. And again, these fights are just hanging in the balance for such a long time. We saw a bunch of people on Detonation Focus Me just so low towards the end of that fight, but just not able to finalize it. Dara forced to use his abilities defensively and started trying to get onto the backline.
Yeah, I have to give credits to Rampage. I did not expect them to be able to successfully defend that inhibitor. With two inhibitors already down, it is so difficult to defend the third when it does not have a turret available to it. But they prevail in that sense. Detonation Focus Me. It's also interesting because Detonation Focus Me has had the map pressure this entire game, and they're still behind on gold.
Yeah, Steel doesn't have Flag and Drag going out. Dark Passage is getting blocked up right now. Dara's staying on top of it. Utori's doing tons of damage to the jungler, and this is huge. The Elder Dragon is available right here. Teleport is canceled by Paz right now. They're going to be able to start this up, and there's no smite available coming out from Detonation Focus Me, and Paz is nowhere near. They should be able to take this pretty quickly with the Mountain Dragon. Oh my god, Ultimate not able to secure it away from the smite of Tussle. as he picks that up, and now with the 3 dragons on the Elder Dragon, they're going to be doing a ton of damage, but they need to get back and defend their base because there's already super minions on their doorstep.
Yeah, you can see even how, despite losing the Elder Dragon. Oh
Uh-oh.
no!
Look at Detonation Focus Me. They're going to be sacrificing Paz right here. No flash, but he's very tanky, but they're already going in for the win. Utapone, Saros, and Vivid are going around. Paz just needs to stop the backs for a little bit longer. They're going to get the first Nexus turret here in just a moment. Redemption does come out, keeping them healthy. They're going to try and find it. They do finally find it with the last damage from the turrets, but they're going to have to trade it for the Baron. Another inhibitor is going to go down to minions here. Evie and Tuss are the only ones here to try and stop that. And a very interesting play coming out that they've won games like that before, but now they're giving up both the Elder Dragon and the Baron. They only get one Nexus turret, and they just knock down an inhibitor that they had already had previously.
Man, that was such a difficult call to make for both teams. Rampage, very excited to take advantages wherever they can find them, want to find Paz out caught in the open. Very happy to take that for themselves. But Detonation Focus Me, even as they were losing the Elder Dragon, you saw Utapon and Saros moving up that bottom lane, recognizing that they might have an opportunity here. Rampage doesn't have the time to back to defend their base. So if anything goes wrong, Detonation Focus Me is going to have an opportunity to take that inhibitor. Does manage to grab a Nexus turret as a reward, but Rampage also able to follow it up with that Baron buff. And now Detonation Focus Me is going to be very hard pressed to defend this push. 518 farm on Utori. What a monster.
Ooh, Death Sentence lands onto Tussle. So much damage goes onto Evie right there coming out from Saros. They are going to be able to pick this up right here. Good Weaver's Wall. Last auto attack is enough to secure it. But look at how low Evie is. He's going to have to back and use the teleport to come back very quickly before they notice that he's gone. He's going to be teleporting behind them. They see that, and with no ultimate available from Paz, this could be a very big opportunity. Evie doing a bit of damage right there, missing the harpoons, but they're going to be able to move in onto the inhibitor right here. Ooh, flag is threatening there from Steel. Dara's taking a good bit of damage already, but they still have the Elder Dragon. Good damage going in. And pick this engage right here. Here comes the Equalizer onto plenty of people. Steel is so low already. Good Dark Passage keeps Paz alive as well, but they're going to end up trading it right here for the next inhibitor. They're going to be able to move to the mid lane, pick up another one for themselves. The Elder Dragon Baron, excuse me, the Elder Dragon has worn off, but they're doing a ton of damage right here to the first Nexus turret. They're all 5 alive. There's still ultimates available right here. Vivid finally does go down to Evie. They pick up another one, and they're going to be able to back out right here. Gonna have to go back, pick up a couple of minion waves because they have their own minion wave in the mid lane so far back. They find it in the top lane. Here comes Ramne doing some damage to Utapon, not able to force his ultimate out quite yet. Here comes Steel. So much damage onto Utapon and Saros as they start to go in. Here comes the re-engage onto Steel. Paz tries to find a way onto Ramne, but the lock is going to keep him healthy. Paz is in the middle of the entire enemy team, and Utori is doing plenty of damage. He's traded out. He goes back in. Here comes Steel. Utapon needs to get the last bit of auto attacks onto Utori. Not able to quite find it yet. Utori is still alive, just raining damage out from this Tristana. Steel is trying to do what he can with no Cataclysm left. Missiles still coming out from Saros. This is so tense right now. Evie with no health is trying to find a little bit more onto Steel, but Utori again is healthy. Weaver's Wall comes out, jumps over the wall, gets the last bit, almost jumps onto the fountain, but he's going to be able to find the last bit of damage right there. Ace coming out for Rampage, and they're going to take game 2 in style.
Wow. Rampage, what a fantastic turnaround. So far behind on map pressure, but with some decisive shot calling around the Elder Dragon, around the Baron, and then pushing it down, recognizing this is our one opportunity where we have a huge advantage, and able to secure themselves a kill and a game, tying it up 1-1 in this best of 5. I am so excited for game 3.
I was worried about that game. I thought we were going to go into game 3 with a 2-0 lead for Detonation Focus Me, but Rampage able to find their way back into that. We were worried. We saw Evie chunked out. He comes back with the teleport, but we see Utori able to go in, jump around once again, find the targets he needs to, pick them off, and he almost jumped into the fountain, but he's able to instead jump just out of range of Steel, keep himself alive so that they have the damage to finish the game. That was exciting. That's the League of Legends I like to see.
Well, we'll be right back with this exciting series between Detonation Focus Me and Rampage. Don't go anywhere. We'll be there Game 3, it's a bloodbath.